Hello everyone. In this topic, we'll see what is Azure data migration and what are the options which are available in Azure data migration. Azure supports both real-time migration of infrastructure, which is nothing but the virtual machines, applications, and data. So we can move the data from on-prem to the Azure cloud storage, which is nothing but the Azure blob storage. So we have the data which can be the virtual machine, and we can move the virtual machine from on-prem to Azure cloud. If I have the application, I can move the application to the Azure cloud. If I wanted to migrate only the data, I can also migrate the data to the Azure cloud. So there is a service which is called as Azure Migrate, which will help us to migrate the data from on-prem to the Azure cloud. And also we can migrate from Azure cloud to on-prem as well. In case if I wanted to move the data back to on-prem, I can use the Azure Migrate to move the data from Azure cloud to on-prem. Azure Migrate provides unified migration platform. So it is a single portal to start, run, and track your progress of your migration. Range of tools. Azure Migrate includes discovery and assessment. We can also do the assessment. If the assessment is okay, fine, then we can go ahead with the migration plan. If we are stuck in the assessment phase and we don't want to do the migration, we can stop there itself, right? And there is also a tool called Azure Migrate Server Migration. This is used for migrating the servers, which can be physical servers, virtual machines from different hypervisor. And assessment and migration. In the Azure Migrate Hub, you can actually assess the on-prem infrastructure and decide if you wanted to migrate to the Azure cloud. Integrated tools. So these are the tools which will help us to migrate from on-prem to the Azure cloud. Azure Migrate, Discover and Assessment. So discover and assess on-prem servers which are running on VMware, Hyper-V platform, or even on physical servers. So we can do the preparation to migrate to the Azure cloud. Azure Migrate Server Migration. Migrate VMware virtual machines, Hyper-V virtual machines, physical servers, other virtualized servers like Citrix and KVM virtual machines. And also we can migrate the public cloud virtual machines, which can be of AWS virtual machines or EC2 and Google Cloud virtual machines. So we can actually migrate the virtual machines from these two cloud service provider as well to Azure cloud. Data Migration Assistant. It is a standalone tool to assess SQL servers. This will also help us to check for any issues or potential problems which are blocking the migration. This tool also helps us to check for any unsupported features and also the new features which has been added, which will benefit us to do the migration and suggest the right path for our database migration. Azure Database Migration Service. We can migrate our on-prem database to the Azure virtual machines. We can also migrate to Azure SQL databases. This is a platform as a service. We can migrate the database which are running on our on-prem. And also there is another platform as a service which is called SQL Managed Instances. We can also use this service to migrate our database from on-prem to SQL Managed Instances. Azure App Service Migration Assistant. This is also a standalone tool to assess on-prem websites or web application and migrate to the Azure Web Application Services. We can migrate .NET and PHP web applications to Azure. Azure Data Box. This is the physical hardware which will be sent to your location when you wanted to use to migrate terabytes of data to the Azure cloud. Then you use the Azure Data Box. This data box will be sent to the on-prem location. You copy the data to the Azure Data Box, then move to the Azure cloud. We will see Azure Data Box in much detail in the next video.